What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And this one will break down what's going on with Tesla stock very briefly and talk about what's happening to the market. Let me first say that I am not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice. And don't forget about the Webull link. The offer ends soon. Check it out before they run out. Deposit any amount of money and you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. Anyways, let's talk about Tesla, what's going on with it. So looking at Tesla, we actually start off with this massive dump in the morning. I was calling this move to the downside looking very likely on Tesla. And it continued to drop and drop and drop, and it came down to this gap area. I told you guys that if it broke below our support right here, this 264.5 to 265 area, it's going to come all the way down to at least 260, and this is where Tesla went to. It tried to bounce a little bit off that, but then it continued to get one last major drop down to 255, and that was our next area of support. I called these levels out yesterday. If 260 broke, we had 257.7, and then below that we have 255.7. We ended up bouncing at 255.8, 10 cents away from our zone from yesterday. And looking at this bounce, right? After it bounced, this was actually just an accumulation target. So they basically hit Tesla down so they could start buying this thing like crazy at low prices. This was a liquidity grab. And what happened was we saw lots of whales starting to step in big buy orders on Tesla all of a sudden. The whales started buying and buying and buying. We saw a 2.5 mil order and just a bunch of huge orders like that. And Tesla started pumping once again. You could see it went all the way up to 262. This was our resistance. Came right back off of it to retest 260. And we got a really, really nice potential day trade that could have been made here off this like back test and a bounce. This was a really, really good opportunity. And Tesla continued going. It's still looking a lot stronger now. Tesla's actually back green, hitting 265. So this is a good sign for next week. It's going to retest 265 in a second, but I'm just trying to say things are improving for Tesla finally, right? Because if you look back at what was happening for the last, many, many hours from today and going into yesterday, it was just dumping, dumping, dumping. Tried to gap up a little bit, then it dumps down. Very similar to what I was predicting too. I told you guys we might gap up then dump yesterday. We got that move, but then intraday, it got a really nice bounce, and we couldn't really call any intraday bounce like that until we finally saw the orders come in, and they finally came in today. So it's starting to show strength. That's a good sign for Tesla. Buyers are already starting to come in. We're going to be watching this on a level to level basis and see how it continues to move. So watch this test at 265, see how it moves here. A drop below that, so you're going to be watching 263.5 and then 262.5, this entire zone right here. Nice support now. And at this previous high right here, this 262.5 area, so see this area right here, this was the previous high on Tesla got rejected. This is going to act as support as well now. And then we have some nice support at 260. We saw lots of buyers stepping in right here. We got some decent volume too. Now, in the beginning, there was high selling volume in the beginning. Now it's still decent volume. It's not like too horrible, if anything. And Tesla's trying to hold up. If Tesla tries to break out later on today, I just want to warn you guys, 268 is going to be our resistance. Watch this very carefully. This is the high from, I think this is very close to the high of the pre-market right here in this 268 zone. Get above that, then the 270 area is going to become possible. 272, 275, those zones up there. Do I think it's going to squeeze that high? It's a possibility. I'm not leaning direction of it making it all the way up to like 277 or something, but I could see it making an attempt later on to form kind of like a cup and handle like formation. That's a one possibility. So just watch these levels carefully. Just know that things are changing for Tesla. Finally, we finally got the bounce we were looking for. It finally came, and buyers are starting to step in. So watch it more carefully. As for SPY, I told you that if we broke below this low right here, we're going to be watching this gap all the way down for a bigger drop. And we broke below our very critical support at this like 463 area. And we came all the way down to, did I say 460? I mean 453 area. We broke below that and we came down to 452, all the way down here to fill this gap. That's what happened, from a nice double bottom. And then it came right back up, retested 454. It came down to backtest the critical zone I was talking about before, 452.69, very close to that area, because this is a very historical zone for SPY where this thing got rejected many times in the past. So it came down from the double bottom, bounced, rejected here, got a backtest at a higher low, which is establishing a bullish trend, and it started to push up more. So did we gap up and drop like I was predicting? To some degree, yes, but it didn't really continue to drop. It actually got an intraday bounce as buyers stepped in. So that's a little bit different from what I was predicting, but kind of close at the same time. And now the market's testing this 454 area. So we're going to be watching this. The current trend is still relatively decent. It's looking pretty nice so far. So for support, you're going to be watching this 453 zone, 453.5 area. Then 452.69 is going to be our next major support below that. For resistance, watch 454. Break above that, and this thing's going to go all the way up for 455. And a break above that, if it does somehow break that level, it is possible for it to get to 456, because on the options chain, there's a lot of volume right there for the calls that came in. A lot of people are buying the 456 strike all of a sudden. Now, am I promising that's going to happen? Not necessarily. We have to wait for confirmation first, of course. But I'm just calling out that level because, once again, market makers are going to be watching that, seeing the amount of volume that's coming into that strike. All right, so that's what's going on for SPY and the QQQ. Just watch the levels carefully. And for the QQQ, let me just mention that this is getting very tight. Started off kind of weak, coming all the way down to $375 a share. And it broke below this. It actually did not break the low right here. So what I told you is, if it broke below 378, we're going to be watching for a move down to fill this gap in the 376s. But if it broke this low at 375.72, we're going to sink all the way down, possibly to as low as 373 for the filled, the gap fill, basically. We didn't actually break the low we made from the yesterday. We held above it, so that's the reason why the QQQ got this like double bottom like formation, got a nice bounce. And seeing Tesla getting buyers stepping in really helped this thing start to improve too. And there was also other factors. The thing that is stopping the market or even like hindering it a bit is Apple so far, because Apple's not very strong. It's a little weak right now. So that's playing a role in this. And for now, the triple Q is trying to hold up as it's trying to form a base at 375. So we're going to be watching these levels carefully. If it wants to push up more, watch $378.34 as resistance. Break that, watch 379 to 378. And above 378, this thing has the potential to push 380. Then we're going to be watching this thing push all the way up to 382. And if it breaks down below 377, you're going to be watching 375, this entire zone right here. Then below 375, if it breaks this low, like I said before, there's a good chance it's going to go down to fill the gap very close to like the 373s if 375 ends up breaking, and so far it has not broken. All right, so those are the levels on the triple Q. Right now, it is looking pretty decent. It's holding up quite nicely, getting a decent amount of volume, but the trend is still holding up. And it's trying to hold above its 50 EMA and support. So pretty decent so far. With that said, please watch these levels carefully for the remainder of Friday. And I do apologize for not being able to like come to you guys earlier about Tesla. I know it started bouncing like right around this level. This was like our good confirmation. This happened about like almost an hour ago. I'm a little late on it, but still I gave you guys at least some information. So watch it for the rest of the day. We have a couple of hours until the market closes. Remain calm, cool, and collected. And I'll most definitely see you guys in the next one. Tesla to the moon, because the long term is still incredibly bright. And peace out.